Market numbers, where perspective is everything. Welcome to the Market Minute. It's Big John Peterson here, Remax Realty Professionals, and it is May the 1st, 2025. What I am going to do is go through the numbers for the month of April, compare them to March, so March and April of 2025. Then we're going to take a look and compare April of 2025 to last year, April 2024. Want to put all these numbers in perspective. There is no doubt we are in a shifting market. We're in a very different real estate market than where we were a year ago. But is the market just normalizing, stabilizing? Is this a better market overall than we had a year ago? Let's take a look at the numbers. We're going to jump right in here. So, when we look at new listings coming into the market, April of this year was 4,038 properties came to market. March, there were 4,022. We go back a year ago to April of 2024, there were 3,491. So there's about 500 more properties came to market this year than last year during the month of April. Sales. This year there was 2,236 sales in April. We go back to March, 2,157, and we go back to April of last year, there were 2,876. So there were 500 fewer new properties came into the market with about 600 more sales. So there was a net difference of 1,100. Last year, when we were talking to people, people were concerned about no inventory. What were they going to buy? If they sold, where were they going to move to? This year, we see that there's much more inventory. Let's take a look at the overall inventory numbers. At the end of April, 5,903 properties available for sale. End of March, there were 5,194. So we've seen an increase from March until April. And last April, 2,750 properties. So we've seen a dramatic increase. Now, what does all of that mean? And as I've spoken to in these videos before, the relationship of the inventory to sales, that's really what's important. Months of supply in the market. And I want to emphasize something here. When we take a look at these numbers, anything under 2 months worth of inventory is considered a strong seller's market. Prices are increasing. There's way more buyers than there are sellers. 2 to 3, 3.5 months worth of inventory is a balanced market. That is where the market functions, quote unquote, normally. If you've got over 3.5 months worth of inventory, that means you're starting to get a bit more supply or inventory in the market than there are buyers, and there could start to be some flat pricing, some downward pressure on pricing. Now, in a normal functioning market, we see that the 30-year average for Calgary is that we see that prices will increase about 3 to 5% per year. That is in a normal balanced market. That's that 2 to 3, maybe 3.5 months worth of inventory. So let's take a look. Overall, total market, there were 2.6 months worth of inventory in the market in April, 2.4 months worth of inventory in March. Last April, 1 month worth of inventory. So, yes, prices were increasing a lot at this point in time in 2024. But what we're seeing now is stabilization as we see sort of mid 2 month worth of supply in the marketplace right now. Single family detached, April, 2.3 months worth of supply. March, there was 2.2 months worth of supply. Last April, 1 month worth of supply. So there's double the month's worth of supply. And it might seem like that's a huge change from a year ago. But remember, we're just moving now towards more of a balanced, stable, long term, sustainable marketplace. We go into row homes, 2.8 months worth of supply in March, 2.8 months worth of supply in April, 2.1 months worth of supply in March, and there was 0.7 of a month worth of supply a year ago. You go into your half duplexes, semi-attached, 2.6 months worth of supply at the end of April, 2.3 months worth of supply in March, 0.8 of a month's worth of supply a year ago. And apartment style condominium, 3.2 months worth of supply April, 3.2 months worth of supply in March, and 1.2 months worth of supply we saw last April. So again, yes, we've seen a big shift, but it's not a shift where the sky is falling and prices are going to decrease. Yes, there are price reductions happening in the market, but it's because prices are stabilizing. And I hate to break it to all the sellers out there, sellers are typically the last people to accept that prices have stabilized. So what's happening is that many sellers, when they first come to market, are still trying to go for that optimistic aspirational pricing, price it a little, take the last sales, price it a little bit higher instead of at where the last sales have been occurring. And what happens is that that's when we see those price adjustments happening. That combined with more inventory, buyers are really doing their research to understand that they're getting value for the money they're investing in their next piece of real estate. It is a good thing. But now what has to happen is everyone needs to arm themselves with the correct information, the up-to-date information. So what we've done is we created homesaleprices.ca. That website will give you a quick, instant uh, approximate price on the value of your home. And if you are looking at getting a detailed evaluation, we provide that no cost, no obligation. We can get all of that detailed information on the particular kind of home you're looking at, areas, trends, all of those kinds of things. Because again, being armed with that knowledge is going to allow you to price your property correctly to get it sold in today's market. But also, if you're looking at buying a property, so that you understand what the trends are, because there are still markets and segments of the market where there are competing offers. And then there's other segments of the market where it's taking 5, 6 months or longer to sell a property. So we want to make sure you have all the information to make the correct decision. If you have any real estate questions, that's what we love talking about. Please reach out. Love to talk to you. And again, if you're looking at selling or just curious on the what the value of your home is in today's market, or curious about what opportunities are out there, homesaleprices.ca help you out. We're here to help you. We look forward to hearing from you.